Given that the subconscious has a reaction time of 1/4 of a second, it makes sense that the pre-reaction phase would be less than that. So let's call it 100 to 150 milliseconds. And I think there's some data to back that up, because if you look at athletes have a subconscious reaction time of 150 milliseconds, so just over 1/10 of a second. If you've ever seen some of the Formula One drivers going through training with the balls and the lights and the buttons and things, they're working on speeding up that reaction time. And 150 milliseconds, that's getting down to the reaction time of a dog. Cats have a reaction time of somewhere around 50 milliseconds, give or take. So let's call the pre-reaction time that first 100 milliseconds. And that first 100 milliseconds is where we need to orient the subconscious into what's going on. See, the subconscious looks at the unfamiliar as a threat, which means 2/3 of the stimuli that come through are probably going to be seen at some level as some kind of a threat. No wonder we're on high alert, fight or flight, stress response, living a stress response, cortisol running through our bodies all the time, especially if you're in business. Sometimes in business, it seems like every envelope you open, every piece of mail you get is negative. There's so many things that can send cortisol. So usually for business, people figure out a way just to get numb to it, but that's not a great solution, but it does help you get through the day. So what we want to do is orient the pre-reaction to where it looks at whether or not this unfamiliar thing is really a threat. And the way to do that is with what I call the positivity exercise. We're literally training, and this is not communication, this is not about me telling you something and then you go doing it, because we're talking about neurons, and neurons are physiological, and physiological change requires drills and trainings. The term deep practice comes in. And what we do is we train the subconscious. It takes about 6 weeks, and we train the subconscious to first, before reacting, to first look and get context for what this unfamiliar thing is. And there's a way to do it. It's out of scope for here, but if you go to my channel and look at positivity exercise, you can find it. And through that positivity exercise, we are training the subconscious so that when we get a stimulus, the first step that happens before the reaction is that the subconscious determines, is this really a threat? And if it's not a threat, the subconscious goes on looking for other threats for that part of it, but it lets the information come through to the conscious mind in a way that positions the conscious mind to be resourceful. And I'll talk about the next step, which is a pause. And in that pause is where we get some work done from the subconscious. So that's the pre-reaction. So I have 8 steps between stimulus and the final step in the stimulus response cycle. So, we thought about this as stimulus response, just 2 things. Even before response, we've got 3 or 4 steps. And then after response, we have a few more steps. Stay tuned.